Have you ever wondered why some people stay mentally sharp at 90 while others begin to forget names in their 60s? It's not luck, and it's not genetics either. Most of the time, it comes down to a small choice. One choice that happens during the quietest moment of your day, right before you fall asleep. Most people miss it, but Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, Japan's oldest practicing physician who lived past 100, believed this one simple ritual was what separated a declining mind from a sharp one. And no, it's not a pill, not a supplement, it's a signal. A simple message you send to your brain at night that says, "You're safe, you can begin to heal now." In today's episode, we'll uncover exactly what that message is and why ignoring it might be silently starving your brain night after night. By the end of this video, you'll know how to prepare your mind not just for sleep, but for clarity, memory, and calm. So let's begin. 1. The sacred hour, why true healing begins before you sleep. And if you've ever had sleepless nights or feared forgetfulness, share your story in the comments. You're not alone. The brain doesn't age because of time, it ages because it's starved silently. Now, not everyone agrees with Dr. Hinohara. In fact, a group of neurologists from Stanford once published a paper saying, these nighttime rituals may create a placebo effect, but they don't actually impact sleep quality. So what's the truth? Is it just a placebo or a forgotten secret that Western medicine has overlooked? So what exactly is this ritual? Is it just about food or something far deeper? Dr. Hinohara used to say, what heals the mind isn't one thing, it's how everything comes together. It doesn't start in the kitchen, it begins in silence. In Japan, we see the night as a sacred time. Not a time to power off, but a time to prepare your breath, your senses, your space, because healing doesn't begin when the lights go out. It begins the moment your brain receives this message. You're safe now, let go. And that message? It's written in light, in movement, in warmth, and in memory. Let's step into that space together. It often begins with light. Dr. Hinohara believed that our bodies don't tell time by clocks, but by light and rhythm. So when the sun goes down, the home begins to soften. Overhead lights become warm glows, screens dim, noise fades. Even our movements change, footsteps become gentler, voices quieter. This isn't just ambiance, it's instruction. Because your brain doesn't just want sleep, it's listening. And when the signals are right, the room darkens, your breathing slows, your belly feels warm. That's when your brain starts working at its best. You see, the brain doesn't rest when you sleep, it repairs. It filters, it rebuilds. But it can't do that if it feels rushed, or worried, or hungry. That's why this ritual matters, not just for your body, but for your nervous system. Because when your system feels safe, only then can it perform its most sacred function, restoring you. Dr. Hinohara called this the sacred hour, the final 60 minutes before sleep. Not the time to collapse, but the time to care. 2. The ritual beyond food. So, is it really just about a warm bowl of soup? Not exactly. In Japan, healing may begin with food, but it doesn't end there. Dr. Hinohara used to say, the body receives nourishment, but the brain listens for signals, and those signals come from your nightly rhythm. Let's begin again with light. Soft, warm light tells the brain, the day is done, it's time to turn inward. But bright lights, flashing screens, loud television, they do the opposite. They confuse the brain, they keep it alert. That's why Dr. Hinohara encouraged using lamps or even candles at least 30 minutes before bedtime. In his own home, there was often just a single lamp and a quiet room. No phones, no screens. Then comes movement, not a workout, not sweat, just 5 minutes of slow, gentle motion. A roll of the neck, a soft shoulder rotation, a slow forward bend. Each movement is like a message to the body. I'm letting go. You don't need a yoga mat. You don't need a routine. You only need to listen to your body and let your breath lead. And then, breath. Dr. Hinohara taught a practice called hara breathing. Breathe deeply into the lower belly. Exhale longer than you inhale. Just 5 minutes of this can shift your body into healing mode, what scientists call the parasympathetic state. In fact, a recent study from the NIH found that just 3 minutes of blue light exposure at night can interrupt the brain's detox process. It was exactly what Dr. Hinohara warned about over 30 years ago, without any hard evidence at the time. But maybe he already knew something that science is only now beginning to understand. These practices slow the heart, lower cortisol, and send the brain a clear, quiet message. You're safe now. You can begin to heal. Now let's talk about nourishment. No cold food, no sugar, nothing that jolts your system. Instead, imagine this: a warm cup of miso broth, a soft-boiled egg, steamed greens, a small piece of poached white fish with ginger. Simple, gentle, soothing. This isn't just food, it's a signal. It tells the brain, you're not in danger, you're being cared for. And when the brain feels cared for, it doesn't just calm down, it begins to restore. Because the nighttime brain is like a librarian. It sorts the books, repairs torn pages, dusts the shelves, but it cannot do this in panic, in hunger, or in darkness. This, according to Japanese medicine, is the foundation of brain health. Food is a signal, breath is medicine, light is transition. Dr. Hinohara called this the preparation phase, a brief but sacred window to balance the body and mind before entering rest. And we cannot forget the heart. There's one more step: gratitude. Write down 3 small things you're grateful for. Not big accomplishments, just enough to soften your mind: a warm cup of tea, a childhood memory, the smile of someone you love. This tiny act creates a massive shift. Studies show that people who practice gratitude before bed sleep longer, feel less stress, and remember better. Because gratitude moves the brain from a state of protection to a state of presence. You might be wondering, what if I can't eat at night? What if my digestion is weak? What if my doctor tells me to avoid late meals? We'll answer that at the end of this video and reveal how timing, not just food, may shape how your brain wakes up tomorrow. Dr. Hinohara believed, it's not just what you consume, it's when you consume it and how. And when we return, we'll build your very own 5-minute healing ritual. One you can begin tonight. Simple, quiet, powerful, just like the man who shared it. 3. Time, simplicity, and the final invitation. Let's talk about time, because one of the most common questions older adults ask is, what if I can't eat at night? What if my digestion is weak? Should I skip the ritual altogether? According to Dr. Hinohara, the answer isn't to avoid eating, it's to honor the rhythm. A heavy meal late at night, it distracts the system, it overwhelms the gut, and it confuses the brain. But a small portion, something warm, liquid, and gentle, can soothe the body and guide it toward rest. The right foods at the right time. Think of it like this: not food for energy, but food as a signal. A warm cup of miso broth, barley tea, brewed soft and earthy, a sip of ginger bone broth, a spoonful of fermented plum-paste umeboshi, rich in enzymes and tradition, or even a small slice of steamed pumpkin with a drizzle of sesame oil. Each one easy to digest. Each one whispering to the body, you're safe, the day is done, let go. If your stomach is sensitive, fermented options may work better, not because they're trendy, but because they nourish the gut. And when the gut is nourished, so is the brain. Why it matters more than you think. You see, many people think memory loss begins with age, but Dr. Hinohara taught something radically different. Memory doesn't fade because you're old. It fades when the brain doesn't get what it needs. Hormones, neurotransmitters, even compounds related to attention and emotional regulation are built inside your belly. And those vital ingredients are shaped by what you eat, when you eat, and whether your system feels calm when it receives them. This is the part most people miss. It's not just about sleep, it's about stable sleep, deep sleep, the kind that comes when blood sugar is balanced, cortisol is low, and your nervous system isn't in survival mode, but in trust. That's what this ritual was always meant to do. Not just help you rest, but help you restore. Why the world didn't understand until now. It's worth knowing that Dr. Hinohara was once heavily criticized by his peers. Some called his work romantic, said he was poeticizing health instead of practicing evidence-based medicine. But the strange thing is, it was often the patients who had been let down by pills, who had lost hope in procedures, who began to heal under his guidance. Not with miracle cures, but with gentle steps. Tiny acts of self-respect, repeated each night. One of them said, I didn't feel old anymore, I felt rebuilding. And that's what Dr. Hinohara believed and lived. He believed that clarity is not the gift of youth. It is the reward of careful, loving attention to the small things, over time, without drama, without force. A personal invitation. So tonight, even if your appetite is light, even if all you can manage is a few sips of broth, or a warm cup of tea by the bedside, let it be enough. Let it be your way of saying, I am worth slowing down for. And remember, you're not feeding hunger, you're feeding healing. This isn't about nutrition plans. It's about a conversation with your body spoken through warmth, simplicity, and rhythm. Dr. Hinohara didn't just teach this, he lived it, and he left behind a quiet truth. The body listens to love, and so does the brain. So, if there's one thing you take away from this conversation, let it be this. Your brain is not fragile, it's not failing, it's hungry, it has a rhythm, and it's been waiting for your signal. Tonight, send that signal. Boil some water. Add a spoonful of miso, a few soft cubes of tofu. Sit, breathe, sip slowly, stretch your body, soften your shoulders, let your breath guide your mind. And then whisper this: I am preparing my mind for clarity. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, even if it's just a pair of warm socks, a quiet room, or the simple chance to try again tomorrow. Because aging well is not about fighting time. It's about listening to your rhythm and giving your brain what it needs so it can remember you. If this message spoke to you, don't stop here. Is there something on your mind you'd like us to cover next? Drop it in the comments, we read every one. Wishing you a peaceful night's rest. Thank you for spending your precious time with us all the way to the end.